Right now, we hear from people living in the area of a hazmat investigation about this ongoing situation.
A special announcement on the development of Madison's Center for Black Excellence and Culture.
And showers and thunderstorms are rolling through the area right now, and then we turn our attention to the dangerous heat for the weekend. Details in the full forecast.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Live at 4 and happy Juneteenth.
Yeah, and it is a warm one out there.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to get a lot warmer from here.
Yeah. Time to remove the tie.
Blaze said at noon it was a bad day to wear a black shirt.
And he's out there on the patio right now getting through this heat, and he's going to tell us when it could turn dangerous. So, Blaze.
That's right. The heat is not going to be dangerous until the weekend. I mean, this is going to be comfortable compared to where we will be, not only in terms of temperatures, but also in terms of how muggy it's going to feel outside. There are some dying showers and a few thunderstorms rolling through parts of southern Wisconsin, a little bit of some outflow. So cold air has caused a little maybe line of cloud cover, maybe a shower or two rolling through downtown Madison right now. This may spark a shower or thunderstorm in parts of Dane County. We'll keep an eye on it. But most of that rain has really fizzled out across parts of Dodge, Jefferson, as well as Walworth counties. This is going to continue to fizzle as it pushes off towards the south and east. Future Track does bring in some morning activity as we go into your Friday. Some of those storms may be severe. Wind and hail would be the greatest threats. And then we turn more partly sunny as we head further into Friday. Winds turn out of the south, and that's going to bring up the heat for the weekend. Alert day Saturday through Monday as temperatures are expected to be in the 90s with heat index values in the low 100s. We're going to talk about who's underneath the extreme heat watch, who could be underneath the heat advisories, and when the cool down is set to come in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. You can track the forecast with the First Warn Weather app by downloading it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
The hazmat situation that stretched across Madison hit closer to home for neighbors who lived right around Paul Van Dyne's house.
He and Andrea Whitaker are awaiting charges in a plot to poison Van Dune's ex-girlfriends from Middleton and Rock County. Our Arman Rahman went back to the neighborhood to see how residents feel.
Neighbors tell me they are relieved that the 100 block of North Spooner Street is clear and hazmat teams are out of Paul Van Dune's home. However, the uneasiness still remains for many of them because this whole time they say they had no idea what him and Andrea Whitaker were up to in there. A state-issued warning for hazardous substances remains on the door of the house on Spooner Street, and for neighbors like Katya Mays, it serves another warning.
I guess the lesson is you gotta get to know your neighbors a little better.
She lives up the hill behind the home where agents were searching Tuesday and Wednesday, while law enforcement told neighbors like her there was no threat to the public.
Not knowing if it was it was also, is this gonna affect us?
All the new details as they come out, it's really shocking stuff.
State prosecutors accused Andrea Whitaker of being the brains of an operation to poison 43-year-old Paul Van Dune's ex-girlfriends with cyanide.
Paul was always very nice and neighborly.
Whitaker was intercepted removing items from Paul's home on Spooner Street, some of which may have been dangerous.
Unsettling. It is very unsettling, and I mean, it is a heartbreaking situation. I was thankful that no one was hurt.
Van Dune is expected to make his first appearance in court Friday, along with Whitaker.
That something like that would be happening around the corner from you, right?
I guess, you just never really know someone, it feels like.
Reporting in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. Van Dune is facing charges of attempted homicide. Whitaker is currently facing charges of harboring and aiding a felon, but prosecutors expect that to be upgraded to co-conspirator of attempted homicide.
President Donald Trump says he will make a decision on whether to join Israel in its offensive against Iran within the next 2 weeks. It comes as the two countries continue to attack each other. An Iranian strike hit a major hospital in Israel today, wounding people and causing extensive damage. It comes after Israel struck a newsroom in Iran, killing at least 3 employees.
We're seeing a major medical breakthrough for a disease that infects more than 30,000 people in the U.S. every year. The FDA just approved the world's only twice-a-year shot to prevent HIV. The vaccine is marketed under the name Yes2Go. Both men and women can use it. 2 clinical trials have shown the injection is nearly 100% effective at stopping new HIV infections. But despite HIV having a disproportionate impact on poor people, the shot is shaping up to be extremely expensive.
I spoke to a spokeswoman today from Gilead. She said it's going to be about $28,000 a year at list price. But they're making all sorts of efforts, she said, to make it more widely available to everyone. But the problem, of course, is in the United States, we have decreased support from federal programs, both inside the United States and abroad, for HIV prevention. So the question remains, are we going to be able to have access and use and instructions for people who need it?
In Wisconsin, the price of the vaccine represents 37% of the median household income. It's unclear how much insurance would cover for the shot.
Student visa appointments are set to resume, but rules going forward will be more strict. New State Department guidance now requires embassies to screen applicants for what they're calling hostile attitudes toward the U.S. This will include a full review of their online presence, including search histories and social media activity. Officials say they're looking for views in support of terrorism, anti-Semitic content, or signs an applicant might undermine national security. It comes after the Trump administration paused visa appointments last month.
UW-Madison says it is aware of appointments resuming, but that it has not, quote, received official notice regarding the new visa applicant screening guidelines. It continued, visa applicants can be expected to be required to set all social media to public and to have online presence.
Wisconsin is one of 6 states recalling dark chocolate almonds due to potential life-threatening reactions. Meyer is recalling certain packages of Frederick's dark chocolate almonds because they may also contain dark chocolate-covered cashews. That is not included on the product's label. People with a cashew allergy run the risk of serious injury if they eat the product. The company has not yet received any reports of anyone getting sick.
An internet provider will pay Wisconsin $450,000 to settle allegations that it misrepresented its monthly prices. The Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection says between April of 2015 and December of 2017, CenturyLink advertised a fixed monthly subscription cost for its services, but the company charged additional monthly fees in the form of broadband cost recovery. As part of the settlement, CenturyLink will not admit fault, but the company will no longer charge the extra fees to those in Wisconsin.
And on to continuing coverage of the efforts to establish a Center for Black Excellence and Culture in Madison. In 2021, the center launched a multi-million-dollar capital campaign to fund the facility. The goal? To raise more than $31 million. Then in 2023, the project was just shy of that goal. On Juneteenth last year, the center broke ground, a symbolic step toward completion. And today, the center is announcing it has reached its funding goal. The 37,000 square foot building will feature multiple performance spaces, a youth space with meeting rooms, a women's center, and much more. Arman Rahman spoke with founder Reverend Dr. Alex Yee about reaching the goal to cover construction costs.
This represents hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of black people who have not left Madison, who have not fled, who have not gone to the South, who have dug into this sacred soil to say, we're going to make Madison better for our community. So to do this and have this announced on Juneteenth Day shows that our history is not just backwards, it's still in the making.
The building, which sits on part of West Badger Road, is set to open in 6 months.
This year, Milwaukee hosted its 54th annual Juneteenth celebration. The holiday commemorates June 19th, 1865, when the last Black Americans learned they were free from slavery. The parade is one of the largest and oldest Juneteenth celebrations in the country. Since 1971, it continues to grow larger. At today's celebration, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson spoke about the importance of the celebration's continued growth in 2025.
In the trying political times we have in the United States today, right, it's important for all of us to understand that history.
And there's plenty to do here in Madison to celebrate Juneteenth. Celebrations start today and go throughout the weekend. Today you can celebrate with the city of Sun Prairie. Tomorrow is the Juneteenth block party, and you can go to the Black Business Hub for a 21-plus social family reunion in the evening. Now, Saturday is the historical Juneteenth Freedom Parade, leading to Madison's 36th annual celebration at Penn Park. It starts at noon.
Next on Live at 4, another setback for members of Congress who have national security concerns about TikTok.
How long the president has extended the deadline for the app's parent company to sell. TikTok's Chinese parent company has another 90 days to sell or see its app banned in the U.S. President Trump signed an executive order today delaying the deadline for a third time. The president first delayed the deadline in January on his first day in office. The second was in April. At the time, White House officials believed they were close to a deal, but that fell through after the president announced tariffs on China. It's not clear how many times the president can or will continue to extend the ban. Congress approved the law and the U.S. Supreme Court upheld it.
A SpaceX Starship exploded in a huge fireball last night, just minutes before a test firing of its engine in Texas. Elon Musk's company says it experienced a major anomaly. It's the latest mishap for SpaceX. In May, a Starship test flight ended abruptly when the rocket spun out of control and broke up, sending debris into the Indian Ocean.
Failures are not unusual in a test program like this. I mean, remember, this is the biggest, most powerful rocket in the world when it's fully assembled with that super heavy first stage. But SpaceX has had a real string of these failures, and it's raising questions about whether or not they will be ready to supply the lander, the moon lander that NASA's ordered, to put astronauts on the moon in just about 2 to 3 years.
SpaceX says no one was hurt in the latest incident and there are no hazards to residents in the surrounding communities.
Social Security will not be able to fully pay monthly benefits to tens of millions of people in 2034. That is unless lawmakers address the program's pending shortfall. An annual report out this week shows the combined Social Security trust funds are expected to be exhausted by 2034. That's a year earlier than previously forecast. At that time, payroll tax revenue and other income sources will only be able to cover 81% of the benefits owed. The latest data from the government shows more than 1 million Wisconsinites receive Social Security benefits.
More than half of Americans say they're worried about a potential recession. According to a TransUnion Q2 Consumer Pulse survey, many Americans are starting to question how their own finances will fare in the coming months. Most respondents said they feel optimistic about their current situation, but 81% admitted they're concerned about inflation. A slight majority of U.S. consumers say they've cut back on discretionary spending over the last 3 months, and roughly a quarter have boosted their emergency savings.
Home building in the U.S. is at a 5-year low. The U.S. Census Bureau says construction of new homes fell nearly 10% in May. That's the lowest the number has been since May of 2020, when the pandemic stalled the housing market. The drop comes amid a shortage of home sales and persistently high mortgage rates.
Home renovation costs are rising. 60% of builders report their supplies have already increased or plan to increase prices for materials because of the president's import taxes. Among the biggest impacts to home renovations, 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum. That could affect roofs, plumbing, and electrical equipment, as well as HVAC systems. Almost a quarter of the country's available lumber supply comes from Canada and now faces a nearly 15% tariff. New appliances, tiles, and even window parts could also cost more.
If you zoom out into this industry, we were building and remodeling for about half the price 10 years ago.
Experts say people wanting to remodel on a budget should work closely with suppliers to stay on top of fluctuating policy and move quickly to lock in those prices when possible.
Mexico's Oaxaca state is damaged after Hurricane Eric slammed into the area this morning. The Category 3 storm made landfall about 20 miles east of Punta Maldonado just after 6 our time. According to NOAA's National Hurricane Center, winds of 125 miles per hour were roaring around the center at landfall.
And meanwhile, we are facing some dangerous heat levels. Let's get a look at our first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze?
That's right. We are getting ready for the hottest weather of the year so far. We're going to climb into the 90s with temperatures feeling like we're in the low 100s, not only Saturday and Sunday, but into Monday as well. And that's all after a few storms possible on Friday. But our main focus for right now is obviously the upcoming heat. We've got an extreme heat watch for Vernon, Grant, Crawford, and Richland counties until 9 p.m. on Sunday. Whereas just a few counties, Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha County, you're underneath an extreme heat watch until 6 p.m. on Monday. National Weather Service saying as we get closer to the weekend, likely more of central and southern Wisconsin will be placed underneath a heat advisory. As our temperatures get into the low to mid 90s, that's the red here, but coupled with the southerly winds, the sunshine that we're going to see along with the dew points, it's going to feel like we're in the low 100s Saturday, Sunday, and then again on Monday as well. The risk from heat over the weekend going from major on Saturday to extreme on both Sunday and Monday, because not only will our daytime highs get in the 90s, but it's going to feel like the low 100s. Our overnight lows may not even dip below the upper 70s. So it's important that during this weekend, you're not only staying cool and hydrated during the day, but at night as well, especially the elderly, the young, and the pets as well. The reason why we're going to be tapping into this heat that we haven't quite seen yet this year is because a high pressure system is sitting off to our southeast. Winds are pulling moisture and that warmer air out of the Gulf. We've got a couple of low pressure systems that'll be moving off the Rockies, and their southerly winds are going to tap into all this heat that's off the lee of the Rockies there along the plains and move it overhead. So that is the reason why we're going to be so hot over the next couple of days, but that does break down as we head into the middle of next week. So over the weekend, how can you beat the heat, maybe reduce your chance of heat exhaustion or worse, heat stroke? Wear light colored and loose fitting clothing. Blacks and darker colors are going to absorb the sunshine more than, say, lighter colors, especially white colored clothing. Avoid alcohol and caffeine. I'm not your parent. You can do whatever you want, but water is going to keep you more hydrated than alcohol, sodas, or sugary drinks. They're diuretics. They're actually going to cause you to go to the bathroom more. Also check in on those pets, because it's going to be hot for us. It is going to be hot for them as well. And if they have to go on walks, try to make sure that maybe they're staying in the grass, because the concrete, especially those blacktops, they are going to get very hot and hurt their little paws. And we certainly don't want that this weekend. It's going to be beautiful though. Plenty of sunshine, because when we're this hot, we really just don't have the chance for showers or thunderstorms. Low 90s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then we get some relief back into the 80s Tuesday through that following weekend. But starting Monday night through that following weekend, we're going to have near daily chances for showers and thunderstorms.
Thank you, Blaze. My big takeaway, besides the weather, is I can still have my iced coffee, but I'll drink a little more water. As Blaze told me to.
Well done. Thank you, Blaze. Coming up on Live at 4, it's Thursday. That means it's almost the weekend.
Look out, everyone. Josh Sprider has 3 things for you and your family to do in the 608. Well, happy Friday Eve to us all. And everyone's working for the weekend in the 608 today.
Our Josh Sprider is all over it. He's helping us plan what to do with the family this weekend.
We are already approaching the end of June, and we are busier than ever this summer in the 608. So here are my 3 things to do. The 75th annual Madison Area Parade of Homes begins Friday, running June 20th through the 29th. This milestone event showcases 33 stunning homes built by 26 of the area's top builders. This year's 75th parade features a mix of parade site and scattered site homes. The parade site neighborhoods, Kilkenny Farms West in Wanakee and Windsor Gardens in Windsor, each have a collection of homes side by side for easy touring. The remaining scattered site homes are individually located throughout Dane County. Tickets are available online. We have that link on channel3000.com. The annual Taste of Stoughton is back on Saturday at Nordic Ridge Park. This is your opportunity to bring your blankets, chairs, and kids to enjoy a day of local food, drink, and music, all while supporting the community. The Taste of Stoughton runs Saturday, June 21st from 10 to 9. General admission is free, and all kids' activities are also free. Then on Sunday, the Strawberry Shortcake Social is happening at the Larson House Museum and features McFarland's best strawberry shortcake. The strawberries are freshly picked and the shortcake is homemade. The event also has a variety of live entertainment acts, lawn games, and free tours of the Larson House. Beverages and hot dogs are also served, with all proceeds benefiting the McFarland Historical Society. That is happening Sunday afternoon from 1 to 5. For more happenings this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. In the 608, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up on Live at 4, budget talks at the state capitol are falling apart.
We'll tell you why the legislature's budget writing committee did not meet today when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for spending this time with us here on Live at 4.
The weather words today, a few storms before the sizzle. It's already pretty warm this afternoon. Let's check in with meteorologist Blaze Keller for what to expect. He's out on the patio. Blaze?
The weather words are perfect. A few storms before we turn on the heat going into this weekend. A few showers and thunderstorms are moving through southern Wisconsin right now, but they're losing a lot of their steam despite the fact that we are warm right now. We'll take it into Dane County, where the outflow boundary, which is caused when cold air hits the ground as the thunderstorm is going on and rushes out ahead of it, is moving through essentially downtown right now. This is sometimes used to cause more showers and thunderstorms to develop. So we'll keep an eye on exactly where that outflow goes, but we find more of those showers and maybe still a few rumbles of thunder off towards Elkhorn into parts of Walworth County, beginning to see a little bit of that activity slipping in to northeastern parts of Rock County as well. Most of that thunderstorm activity has stayed off into Lake Michigan. We're going to watch the chance for a few more showers and thunderstorms this evening out of northwestern Wisconsin. And then our attention turns to that heat that we've been talking and getting you at home ready for this weekend. Temperatures in the 90s, even hotter heat index values. So what it will feel like, we're going to talk about when we'll eventually cool down and what lies ahead for next week in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. The legislature's GOP-led budget writing committee will not meet today. Committee members were supposed to take up the election commission, agriculture, child welfare, and more. In his own budget, the governor proposed $540 million to invest in child care. Republicans scrapped that proposal and were set to put forth their own. The committee only has until the end of the month to pass a budget or keep spending at current levels.
Shortly after the meeting was canceled, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Committee Chair Mark Bourne released a joint statement. In it, they blamed members of their own party in the Senate for the holdup. It reads in part, quote, "This budget is on a trajectory to have a more conservative growth rate than the budget that was passed by the Assembly and the Senate 2 years ago. We hope Senate Republicans will come back to the table to finish fighting for these reforms and complete the budget on time." Senate Republicans are responding. Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu says the discussions are heading in a direction that taxpayers cannot afford, but that members of his chamber are ready to talk.
Meanwhile, Democrats are continuing to call for more investment in child care in the budget, and they're citing a new survey from Wisconsin Says. In it, 90% of respondents say affordable, high-quality child care in Wisconsin is a problem. More than 75% support an increase in state funding to fix the problem. The Department of Children and Families Wisconsin says the average annual cost of full-time infant care is between 15 and 21% of the median household income in Wisconsin. Governor Evers is reacting to the results of that survey. He says, "I'm urging Republican lawmakers to join me in supporting real, meaningful investments to bolster providers, cut wait lists, and lower costs for working families.
After last weekend's shootings of Minnesota lawmakers that left a legislator and her husband dead, the state capitol is upping its security. At yesterday's meeting of the legislature, people trying to enter the Senate's public gallery had to go through an additional security check. People wanting to watch the assembly session from the gallery were encouraged to instead view it from another room. There were also state patrol officers around both legislative chambers, in addition to the usual Capitol Police.
To the White House now, where President Trump is weighing whether to join Israel in its offensive against Iran.
As the president considers his options, Israel and Iran continue to strike each other. CBS News' Erica Brown brings us the updates on the fighting from Washington, D.C.
The White House says President Trump is waiting to make a final decision on whether to attack Iran. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt read a direct quote from the president this afternoon.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
Multiple sources tell CBS News the president believes disabling Fordow, Iran's most secure nuclear site, is necessary because of the risk of Iran producing nuclear weapons in a relatively short period of time.
Let's be very clear. Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon.
Israel has targeted Fordow, but doesn't have the heavy weaponry the U.S. could provide.
If you talk to Israelis on the street, they would really like to see the Americans come in, but if the Americans don't come in, I think there's confidence that Israel's going to be able to do some damage to that facility on its own.
In what may be an attempt to influence the president's thinking on the conflict, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivered remarks in English Thursday saying he trusted President Trump's judgment on Iran.
They strung him along. You don't string along Donald Trump. He knows the game. And I think that we're both committed to making sure that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
Netanyahu made the comments while visiting a hospital in southern Israel that was hit by an Iranian airstrike Thursday, injuring dozens. A large number of Israelis were also hurt in a missile attack on high-rise buildings outside Tel Aviv. It comes as Israel said it struck a heavy water reactor in Iran. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
And markets were closed today due to Juneteenth. We'll bring you closing numbers tomorrow right here on Live at 4.
One day after the Fed decided to hold interest rates, the president is calling for a reduction. In a post on his Truth Social, the president said Fed Chair Jerome Powell is costing the country billions of dollars by holding rates steady. Yesterday, Powell said it was in the country's best interest to keep interest rates the same amid uncertainty about the economic effects of tariffs, immigration, and other Trump administration policies.
The travel site The Points Guy is out with its annual list of best U.S. airlines based on reliability, passenger experience, and the cost, of course. Topping the list for the 7th straight year in a row, Delta Airlines, followed closely by United. Southwest, Alaska, and Hawaiian Airlines round out the top 5. The Points Guy founder and CEO Brian Kelly shared some recommendations on CBS Mornings for travel this summer.
Domestic travel's up quite a bit. Travel numbers are high. People are staying more domestically this year. But where the best deals are is actually Canada. Because a lot less Canadians are coming to the U.S., we've seen huge drops in airfare. Granted, you still need a passport. Yes. But Vegas is big, Florida is big, and road trips are really big this year, too, even though airfare has, on average, come down 7%. This is a great summer to fly.
Frontier Airlines ranked last on the list, thanks in part to the number of passengers bumped from flights. Allegiant and Spirit also finished toward the bottom.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, some new research on the use of ketamine to treat depression.
Is it a miracle drug or a double-edged sword? We'll talk about it with Dr. Zorba Pastor when we come back. Well, ketamine is a drug used to treat depression and chronic pain. It also has a powerful effect on the mind and body.
That is the drug that killed actor Matthew Perry, you may recall, and doctors say it can be dangerous when it's misused. Dr. Zorba Pastor is back from his world travels the last couple of weeks to tell us more. Welcome back.
Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
It's good to be back.
So what is ketamine?
Well, ketamine, it's an anesthetic, basically. It's sort of an anesthetic. It's been around for a long time, maybe 40 years. It was used back in the 70s and 80s, and then it was stopped being used, and then it's used for children to put them to sleep when they're having certain surgical procedures. Then we discovered pretty recently in the last 5 or 10 years it may be good for people with treatment depression that isn't treated otherwise, for PTSD, putting people sort of in a ketamine state intermittently, for chronic pain, very, very useful. And then all of a sudden there started to be ketamine clinics around where you can just get ketamine to get high. That's basically what it is. And if you look at the number of people who have ketamine addiction, this is an article in the British Medical Journal, it's increased tenfold over the last few years. And it can be addicted. And if you look at Matthew Perry, he died of ketamine that was given to him. And if you look at Michael Jordan, he didn't die of ketamine, he died of propofol. But it was the same thing.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, yeah.
Excuse me.
Michael Jordan
Jackson.
is alive.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Michael Jackson. Sometimes my brain thinks too quickly. But anyway, if you look at it, it's now an addictive possibility, and we're going to see more and more problems because the feds have now approved intranasal ketamine. So in other words, you won't have to get an injection. You'll be able to get in your nose, you'll be able to get high with it, and of course they're using it for chronic pain. And like I said, good uses, but it's going to be like an opioid. It's going to be used badly.
I've read articles where it seems like it is becoming a more widely used party drug, recreational
Absolutely.
drug.
And that's the problem. People don't realize it can have problems. First of all, Matthew Perry died from it. But it also appears to cause bladder problems. It might cause neurogenic problems with your bladder, so you can't pee. That's one problem. It seems to cause stroke in other people. And so it's just like other drugs. They have to be used appropriately. And if they're used just inappropriately, there are problems. But the addiction is the biggest problem.
But if you use it appropriately, is it effective for treatment-resistant depression? I mean, there are ketamine clinics in Madison.
And PTSD. So there really are uses for it. But the problem, well, just like opioids, there are uses for opioids. We don't want to throw them out. But the problem is people think, well, I can go in, I can do ketamine in a clinic, it won't be any problem. But the answer is no. These drugs have to be used with respect.
Yeah, and is this something that people, I mean, obviously, if they have questions, should talk with their physician about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also, come on, there's common sense. I mean, if you really are going in once a week and you don't have a serious problem, or if you're even going once a week and you have a serious problem with, we'll say, PTSD, and you're not seeing a psychiatrist for PTSD, maybe the problem is you're not seeing the right provider and not the ketamine. And ketamine, I think we are going to see a boom in party drug and use for ketamine. And just like opioids, I predict over the next few years, we are going to see other people with it because of intranasal ketamine dying of intranasal ketamine.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have time for one more question. Is this something, if someone is predisposed to have issues with substances, will the doctor be able to tell that? Or?
If they know that.
If they know that.
If they know that. You know, sometimes people don't tell you everything when you come to the doctor. You know, they don't tell you what's going on. If it's not in the electronic medical record, they don't talk about it. And then people are embarrassed to say, look, I had a problem with alcohol and I stopped. So I think the other thing you bring up is important. When you're going to your doctor, how about being honest? You know, mano on mano or whatever it is. I mean, just be honest, because then you're going to get the best medical care. And if you have an addictive problem or it's in your family, let your primary care doctor know.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome back, Sorpa. Good to see you.
Good to be back.
Coming up on Live at 4, Blaze has your first warn forecast.
When we could see that dangerous heat we've been talking about all day, that's coming up.
Well, we are taking a live look at Thaxton, Virginia. 76 degrees, light thunderstorms and rain, plenty of cloud cover there. Hopefully they are finding more shade than we have.
Well, that's a very... Have you ever been there?
I haven't.
No, I haven't. Have you ever been to Virginia?
Maybe, once upon a time. I can't remember what I did yesterday.
I know, you're right. I'm the same way. Let's get a check on our weather now. Blaze is here and he's keeping an eye on the rain and the heat.
That's right. We've got some heat to contend with as we head into the weekend. High pressure off to our south and east and a series of low pressure systems moving just off to our northwest, causing essentially a stream of hot, muggy air being pulled out of the Rockies and moved north and eastward overhead, not only Saturday, but Sunday into Monday as well. Already ahead of that heat, extreme heat warnings stretching from Minneapolis all the way south into Omaha. And then in the darker red, those are extreme extreme heat watches. So for Vernon, Grant, Crawford, and Richland counties, that goes until 9 p.m. on Sunday. But Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Racine counties, that goes until 6 p.m. on Monday. The closer we get to the weekend, the National Weather Service says that they'll likely add more counties across central and southern Wisconsin into probably a heat advisory. Their threshold is about 105 degrees for that heat index value to be in that extreme heat watch. So we'll just wait and see what they determine. But you can see our temperatures in the red compared to how warm it is going to feel as we head into Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday as well. When we cool off just a little bit, it's still going to feel like we're in those triple digits. So daytime highs are going to be in the 90s, but let's take a look at those overnight lows, because that is also important as to why we're first warning you about this heat. Overnight lows going into Sunday, upper 70s to low 80s. And then Sunday into Monday, once again, upper 70s. A few of us might not even get below 80 degrees going overnight. And that continues even into Monday night as well. We're still in those low 70s with a little bit more relief. So during the daytime, you need to make sure that you are staying cool, taking breaks if you're outside, limiting your time outdoors, but especially at night when you're trying to sleep, when you're trying to get your body rested for the next day, it's important to also stay cool as well. That's the reason why our risk from heat is major on Saturday to extreme on Sunday, and that continues into Monday as well. So drink plenty of water. That is going to keep you hydrated more than sodas or sports drinks. Sugars are going to help dehydrate you, and that's the last thing you want to do during this heat. Could we hit 100 in the Madison area? Probably not. Out of 57,147 days, that's from January 1st, 1869 to today, we've only hit 100 or above 36 times. So that is less than 0.5% of all of those days that we've reached 100 degrees or higher. The last time we did that was back in July of 2012. So over a decade ago, most of our 100-degree days happen in July, so maybe we'll just have to wait a month and see. But it doesn't look like the hundreds are in the forecast for this weekend. Once the heat goes away, then the rain returns. We're looking at another healthy swath of rain ranging from about 1/2 inch in the blue to some folks picking up possibly 3-4 inches of rain across northwestern parts of our coverage area in Wisconsin, which is some good news. We still need rain. Latest drought monitor conditions have cut the percentage of Wisconsin underneath a normally dry down from about 47% to 26%. But unfortunately, we did not reduce the percentage of Wisconsin underneath moderate drought conditions. We're still sitting at 5%. So those rain chances after Monday of next week are going to be beneficial. Could be dealing with some severe weather as well, so we'll keep you guys updated. But for now, just please make sure that you are staying cool and drink plenty of water this weekend.
Thank you, Blaze. I know everyone's been in suspense. I can confirm I have been to Virginia, Old Town, Alexandria.
Oh, did you just text your dad or something?
I remember when I was 17, so we got there. It took a bit, but all right. Back here in Madison, you have less than 2 weeks left to vote in the Best of Madison 2025. You can vote right now for your local favorites on the link on your screen. Hopefully we'll have that up. There we go, and you have until the end of the month.
Well, Summerfest. Oh, nope, we'll be right back, right? Well, I'm sorry, just kidding. We'll be right back.
Well, Summerfest kicks off today on Milwaukee's lakefront.
You can win some free tickets just by watching Live at 4 today. Thank you very much. And tomorrow, all you have to do is enter on channel3000.com to win 4 general admission tickets to Summerfest. And there's the lineup. That's just a smattering of some of the acts. That's a really good lineup this year.
Yeah, Hozier, The Killers, Megan Thee Stallion is there. So something for everyone. Oh, Blaze, you're interested now.
Who doesn't like Megan Thee Stallion? But I will not be partaking because I will be at work and it is going to be hot.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be going or if you're going to be staying here, please stay cool and hydrated. 90s, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Oh boy, summer's here. Thanks, Blaze. We'll be right back. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. We'll have analysis of the breakdown of the budget talks today at the state capitol. And straight ahead tonight at 5, neighbors weigh in on a hazmat investigation ongoing in Madison. Thanks for watching Live at 4 with us today, everybody. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. You can catch us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.